making 3 things for you. Well, 2 are already made. Third I'm gonna make the pesto for you. And it's a lemon grilled chicken, cauliflower bread, and some dairy-free pesto. So I am a nutritionist and a chef, and one of Dr. Mike's favorite people.
Absolutely.
And I'm just gonna go over like the process that I took this morning to make these things. Didn't take long while I make my pesto for you. So like multitasking, bear with me. So basically this morning the first thing I did was prepare the cauliflower, because again that takes the longest time. So it's a head of medium-sized cauliflower, and you can get cauliflower rice. Trader Joe's sells it.
Yes.
And it's pretty good and that saves some time. But I think that if you want to do this, you should go with the actual head, because you do have to cook the cauliflower. Like you have to put it in the microwave, and I'm not sure how the cauliflower rice is gonna microwave.
Okay.
I'm not sure how, because you know it's like prepackaged and everything. So I would go with the fresh head of cauliflower, and then you just cut it, you pulse it in the food processor, and you put it on like either in a microwave safe bowl, or I just put it on like my big plate, and you microwave it for about 6 to 8 minutes, and then you have to let it cool. So once you do that and you set it aside, I moved on to the chicken. And the chicken is just really easy. I just got tenderloins, chicken tenderloins, and they're already pre-cut, and I really just season them with some lemon juice, sea salt, pepper, and garlic. But if you want to do lemon chicken, it's actually really good with herbs. So if you ever wanted to do it separately, I didn't do it with herbs because I am making pesto to go on this, so I feel like it would, you know, clash.
Yeah.
But if you're ever making this chicken just by itself, if you add like rosemary or basil or oregano, those things go really well together. And you can even make an oil. I was gonna do it. I was gonna infuse rosemary in oil. So it's basically just olive oil in a pan with rosemary, and you let it heat up a little bit, and it kind of infuses the rosemary flavor into the oil, and you can add that to your chicken and have the chicken by itself, and it's really good.
Neil, can I just ask you about the cauliflower?
Sure.
After you pulse it in the food processor and you're putting it onto the plate to put in the microwave, are you flattening out into one big pancake to do that? Or
No. I just pulsed it straight onto the plate from the food processor in a pot, because it's just going in the microwave. It just has to cook.
Okay.
It just has to heat up, and then it has to cool, because you're gonna put it in cheesecloth and you're gonna wring it out, and it's gonna be hot. You know, the water's gonna be hot if you don't let it cool. So I honestly just put it in the freezer for a little while to let it cool a little quicker. You can do that. You can put it in the fridge. You can leave it out, but it is gonna take a little longer.
Okay.
Can you
boil it?
I'm very skeptical about putting certain things in the microwave.
I would not recommend boiling it, because it's just going to take on more moisture. You can probably bake it.
Yeah.
If you want to put it in the oven, let it dry out and do the same thing, and then after you put it in the oven, you could put it on a plate or in a bowl and let it cool the same way. That's fine. If you don't want to do it in the microwave, but I don't recommend boiling. It's just going to, you know, get more water. It's going to make your life a little harder.
Okay.
Alright, so moving on to the pesto for a second, and then I'll get back to the cauliflower bread.
Okay.
So I'm just using basil. And I did do a recipe for you for pesto, but pesto is like really, what's the word, customizable. A lot of people like pesto differently, so there is a solid recipe there for you, but for some people who like it a little thicker, some people like it a little creamier, some people, you know, it can be customizable. So I'm just doing 2 packs of basil, just the leaves, and some pine nuts. And I'm just going to put it in there with a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to let it pulse for a little while. This is going to be noisy, so I apologize. So you can use as much olive oil. I wouldn't say as you'd like, because you don't want to go crazy and overdo it. But if you want to make it creamier, I personally don't like a thicker pesto. So I'm going to do it a little bit creamier for you. There's no set amount of olive oil. You know, like you can't really say, that's why on the recipe it says to taste, because you can't really say, okay, use a 1/3 cup of olive oil, then it comes out and it might be too thick for you, you know, and that can ruin the recipe. So I'm not really measuring the olive oil or anything here, but it is measured on the recipe, I'm just letting you know. And then I'm just going to add some salt, so it's sea salt, and some garlic powder, and lemon juice is optional. You don't have to add it. You can just do, if you like it simple, more of a simple taste, you can just do the salt. And I'm adding a little bit of lemon juice. And this is my cleansed lemon juice. This is like the organic, 100% natural lemon juice. So if you buy it like this, make sure the ingredient is just 100% pure lemon juice. He's serious about that stuff. Okay.
Stop and Shop. I mean Shepherd.
And then I'm going to add some more olive oil.
It's not the lemon lime juice. It's with the regular juices.
Can you have Parmesan cheese on maintenance? No, right? Okay. Well, I guess you were talking about
yeah, it's in most
what is it called? Like non-dairy cheese before.
Right.
Or nutritional yeast. I guess I haven't done it, but that's a fun experiment. If you want to try maybe adding nutritional yeast or non-dairy cheese to this, that might be good because traditional pesto has Parmesan cheese.
Right.
And then you always want to scrape the sides because you don't want to get any leaves that are whole. It's going to ruin the pesto for you. Okay, so back to the cauliflower bread. After I let it cool, I took my cheesecloth and I put it over a bowl. And then I took small bits of cauliflower. So this is the cauliflower rice at this point. You take small bits and you put it in your cheesecloth. I should have brought cheesecloth to demonstrate for you, but it's really easy. It's just like a cloth. It looks kind of like gauze.
Yeah.
You put it on, and you hold it, and you just wring it, right? And you can use paper towels if you don't have cheesecloth or you can't find cheesecloth, but the paper towels do get wet and you have to keep replacing them, so I find the cheesecloth is a little more heavy duty. And you just wring it out as dry as you can, like squeeze the living daylight out of that stuff. Just get it as dry as you possibly can, and then you transfer it to a bowl. And then once all your cauliflower rice is squeezed out and in the bowl, you take it and you just add an egg. I put some salt and some pepper. Again, you can add like nutritional yeast, you can add onions, you can add garlic, you can do whatever you want, you know, you can play around with it, but for me, these purposes, I just did salt and pepper. And you take it and you form it into little squares on some parchment paper on a baking sheet, and you bake it on 450 degrees for like 10 minutes, and then I did throw it in the broiler after to try and get it a little crunchier.
Okay.
But she made a great suggestion that you can toast it afterwards. Okay, so I'm just gonna make little samples for you. That's basically it. I'm just gonna make little samples for all of y'all to taste. If you don't want to taste everything together, I have toothpicks. You can taste the chicken separately. You can taste the pesto separately, but I think it'll taste good together, hopefully.
Okay.
All right.
Do y'all have any questions about anything that I made? No?
Trying to think. Did you ever try baking the cauliflower without wringing it out and just throwing it in the oven?
I thought of that. I did, because baking it technically dries it out,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if that would work.
Right. If
I
you
don't know.
spread it out thin and then bake it.
Because I think if you bake it, you might take too much moisture out of it, if that makes any sense. Like, it might be too dry,
Right.
and then when you go to mix it with the egg, the texture might be off. I'm not sure. Maybe it would work. That's something you could try, and
Right.
you can let me know if it's any good.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Yeah, because
I'm
that
lazy.
probably gives it a little bit of a different flavor too.
It
the
probably
baked
does, because you
cauliflower.
roast it, yeah.
Yeah.
Also with the pesto, I just used garlic powder and lemon juice, but you can use like roasted garlic. So you can take garlic and you can put it in the oven and roast it. That probably gives it a much nicer taste. And you can use actual lemon juice. I don't know if it's going to be more fresh in this because this is pure lemon juice, but it might give it a little bit more of a zest. You can play around with everything that I've made today. You know, nothing's set, which is why I really liked it, because it's customizable to everybody. And you can, as I was telling you, use the bread for breakfast. You can put eggs on it. I've made guac with avocado, tomatoes, onions, garlic, all that, and put it on it for breakfast in the morning. So there is a lot of options for these things.
So I'm looking at it. It's actually pliable right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not hard.
So
like-
it's as I said before, it would probably be a little crunchier if it was toasted beforehand. I did make this not too long ago, not even an hour ago.
Okay.
But you know, once it cools, but it is obviously not bread, so it is a little more pliable. And does anyone want it, like, everyone wants it made together, right?
Yeah,
Stuff
do it.
okay.
Yeah.
Come on. We're adventurous people over here. If we weren't, we wouldn't be here.
Does anyone have any more questions? Anything else?
I've made pesto before where you do, you know, half of the basil and half spinach for my children who don't like
Okay.
vegetables. So it, you know, in this particular case, it's, it would be more mild, but that would be an extra way to get some veggies in, right?
That would be a good way.
Okay.
You could also, you don't have to use pine nuts.
Right.
People have done it with almonds.
Walnuts, yeah,
You
that's
can
my.
make any kind of pesto. Is
Okay.
super, super customizable. There are a lot of different ways to do pesto.
I wonder if you could put peas in it also,
I'm sure you could.
you know?
Any of the green
Because
veggies
it's starchy,
really,
so
yeah.
I'm wondering.
How do you do the cauliflower bread? I mean, I know you went through a lot of it, but did you go through the whole thing?
I did. I mean, virtually, but I'll quick process again. It's cauliflower. You pulse it, you turn it into rice, and then you're gonna put it on like a plate or a pan or a microwave safe bowl. And you're either gonna, as she said, you're either gonna bake it for a little while, let it dry out first, or you're gonna put it in the microwave for 6 to 8 minutes. And then you're gonna let it cool. Then once it cools, you're gonna take it in some cheesecloth or very heavy duty paper towels, and you're gonna wring out as much water as you possibly can. Transfer it into a bowl, and then when it's in the bowl, you mix it with 1 egg and whatever seasonings you may choose. I did salt, pepper, and garlic. You could probably try, I don't know, paprika might be nice. Something like that inside of it might be nice. And then you form it onto either, last time I did it round because it's a little easier. You know, when you take it up and you just pat it down, it naturally goes round. But you can form it into squares if you want to have like little toast bites. And then you put it in the oven for I did about 14 minutes until it starts to turn brown. And then you can either, as Rose said, toast it before use, or I just put it in the broiler. So
And when you put it in the oven the first time,
Right.
how long and what temperature? And then,
450 degrees, or that's what my recipe calls for, but I did 350 and I just let it sit in there a little longer. So it took me on 350 about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Or if you do 450, it's probably going to be about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. It's really just till it turns brown. I don't think the temperature matters as much. And
then the second time you put it in the oven?
the second time, I didn't put it in the oven, I put it in the broiler. So once it came out, just to give it a little more crunch.
So
But-
that's like for 2 minutes. That's,
Yeah,
okay.
not even 2 minutes, you know, or maybe a minute. And you can either do that or you can put it in the toaster,
Okay.
whichever's easier for you.
Very interesting. Oh, you did good, I'll tell you.
It looks delicious.
Mhm.
All right, when are you
That's
cooking for us again? That's what I'd like to know.
When? I don't know. It's
We'll
a
start planning that.
I was gonna say that's up to Dr. Mike.
Amelia's available for parties and weddings.
Exactly. Catering.
If you want my phone number after for private meetings, I'm available. Private cooking classes. Except for Meryl.
Oh,
She's not allowed.
dang. We're going to have to go over that.
Yeah, we have to have our own little
Figure something out for that.
Exactly.
video login for recipes. Yeah.
I know, well, she calls me the troublemaker.
Okay, so everyone can come up and take it.
Posted.
And you can also just, if you want to taste the chicken separately and taste the pesto separately, you can. You can just use the spoon and put the pesto on the plate. I wish I had more plastic spoons. I do not. I feel like I bought them and I don't know where they are.
It's
So that's it.
Perfect.
Thank